Hi, I'm Brian English, forum name Hyperbytes, and we're going to look at now using a pouch query as opposed to the former module where we just used a where applied to the existing data view. Entering new ground here. It's not actually documented by the Rappler team at all. I've worked out certainly an approach which appears to work okay. Maybe the team will come up with an alternative approach, but I thought it would be an ideal opportunity because even if there is other ways of doing it, this seems to work okay, and it gives you an overview of what on earth is going on with this integration situation. I'll also mention I've changed my screen scaling after some feedback. I'm now running basically with everything 25% bigger within the screen than it was before, in the hope that people can read the text a little easier. If anybody wants to give me any feedback on that compared with previous videos, I'll be very happy to accept that feedback. So let's get on with it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a flow. I'm going to start with a page flow. And what I'm going to do is within this page flow, I'm going to run a query on the database, the couch database that is, to retrieve. In the initial stages, I'm just going to retrieve all records. So go to pouch query. I'm going to go to database query builder. Sorry about that. And I'm going to go into the notes database. Just going to add all those notes in and I'm going to save that. Let's make sure that auto runs. So basically when that page runs now, that flow should run automatically and we should get a data set returned via that pouch query, which we can then display on our screen. And I'm now going to just basically create another container row column. I'm going to pop another generator table in there, and that table is going to be based on now the page flow data query that is returned in that flow that we wrote. Stick a bit of striping in it. I'll leave it at that. Click OK. Now what you probably immediately realized or spotted is we have no data there at all. Now I would expect the data to be there. I suspect this is possibly beta 1 bug. We obviously got to expect bugs because I actually found a little workaround it. Bizarrely, if I go back into the flow and I go back into that query and I add a sort in there, so I'll sort by the title, for instance, save, and lo and behold that data now appears. So I'm guessing that's a bug. I've already fed that back to the team, so as long as you're aware that you probably won't need that once beta 2 comes out, that's great. So there we are. We now have an alternative way of pulling the data. How would we filter that then? You know, we filtered this so I found sometimes I've got too many windows open. I don't get a response as if there's a limit to the number of queries that will run. Let's just close some of these down. Okay, so we've got our two tables. Now remember, we've already got filtering on that first table. We haven't done anything at all in the second table. So how would we filter this query? Well, that's actually really simple as well. So we're going to go back into our page. We're going to go into our flow and we're going to now go to query builder. We're going to add a condition. I'm just going to search on the content at this stage. We're going to say if the content contains, and then we're going to see if it contains the value within that filter that we had set. So using that same filter box to filter both of those queries. Now we'll just throw in at this point that these pouch queries do appear to be case sensitive. So in this case, this is going to be a non-case sensitive search, and in this one it will be a case sensitive search. But we need to do just one more thing here before we go ahead, because remember with the traditional server connect we would have the option to be able to set a parameter, so we'd be able to set that filter on the database by passing it as a get parameter. But of course we can't do that within Pouch because this is running completely within the browser. So we need to just make one small change. What I'm going to do is up here in that field, I'm going to add a, it's actually already there from a test, so I'll take that, data value changed. If that value changes, we can then say, well, if that value changes, I want to rerun that flow. And we have the option obviously for modifiers and debounce, etc., so that we don't push out too many queries out, too many actions at a time. But that's not quite so critical when we're running complete within browser environment. So save that, and if I've got that all right now, let's pop that up. Now if we look at NO, we'll see that our first table shows up because that's not case sensitive. But if we go into the second one and put this in, we see we've got an exact match here. So let's just get rid of that keyword. What else are we going to look at? Let's look if we can find screens. Whoops, not like that, we won't. And you see now both of those are filtering, but as I say, this one is not case sensitive because we remember we converted the two comparisons at the lower case, where at the moment it would appear that with the data query we've got to cater with the fact that these queries conditions are in fact case sensitive. So that's an extension. That's how we're going to use our data queries within Pouch, and how we can use that same filtering technique to be able to filter those data queries so we can produce subsets of our videos. So I hope you enjoyed that video, and hope to see you very soon in the next one.